Have you ever found yourself putting things off until the last minute? Maybe a large project that needs to be done around the house, an important project at work, or some important personal goal that you're trying to accomplish. Have you ever had to prepare a speech for Toastmasters and consciously decided to procrastinate day after day, week after week, until finally, 1 or 2 days before your speech, you start to work on it? Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Toastmaster, I'm here today to persuade you to stop procrastinating. Bad habits are hard to break, and procrastinating is a bad habit. And I know, this seems like a really tall order for me to accomplish. But remember, first we make our habits, and then our habits make us. There is power in preparation, and there are many pitfalls and perils to procrastination. My opening statement would be that, just that. Power, pitfalls, and perils. We need to make a conscious decision to be aware of what goes on in the subconscious and then make a conscious decision to change. Change is not easy. And we only do that through changing some of our inner core beliefs that lead to action. So by understanding what it is, we can then change. So now let me present the evidence against procrastination. And how do you feel when you procrastinate? I don't feel so good. Okay, I feel pressured. My subconscious or conscious mind is constantly tugging at me in 2 different directions. Okay? Inside this ear, I got this dude dressed in white, kind of nerdy, but I know he's smart, and he's like, Bryan, why are you putting this off? You know you need to get it done. Don't delay. Just get started. Once you get started, everything will be okay. Come on, you can do it. Then, in the other ear, I got this dude dressed in black leather, and he's pretty cool. And he's like this. He's like, Bryan, come on, man. Relax. What are you so uptight about? Don't worry about it. Why do today what you can put off another day? You'll get it done. You're a smart guy. Things will happen. Forget about it. Now, we all know that, and we're tempted to listen to the really cool dude, right? It's fun, you know, we could put it off. But deep down, we know we just can't do that. So, we need to make a conscious decision, okay, to avoid temptation and do what we know is really in our best interest. I'll start with a personal story. I've got 2 kids, Megan and Becky, 2 daughters. They're grown. But when they were kids, back when they were in school, this is the time of year, and it reminded me of it, when the science project is due. Now, in my household, they always waited and delayed, and I'd prompt them and nag them, and then finally, 2 or 3 days before it's due, right, the sense of urgency kicks in, and so there's a lot of chaos around the house. I don't have to tell you what female hormones are like when they're teenagers and trying to get this done at the last minute. All unavoidable. Did we get it done? Yeah. Whew. Last minute, got it done. And what a sense of relief when you finally finish something, right? You give a speech, you feel good. You can feel good much sooner than that by avoiding all this frustration. It's self-imposed. So I asked my daughters after several years, I'm like, did you know what? I got some good news. They're like, what? There's a better way. Okay? All I had to do was show them how to prepare with power, which I'll share with you shortly. Another quick story. In my personal life, I'm in business, and I'd get those messages from the client, right? They're dissatisfied. And when I was young and didn't know any better, I sort of put it off. I didn't want to handle that. I got enough problems. I don't want to deal with that. Until I realized, and I made a conscious decision to prepare for those phone calls. And now I return calls within 24 hours. I found that there's power in that also, because one of 2 things would happen. Either they were dissatisfied and I helped them solve it and they appreciated the phone call and they were better clients, and sometimes, seriously, it led to another sale. So I changed. I made a paradox change in my practice. Procrastination does have perils and pitfalls, and I no longer procrastinate in my business. I'd like to share with you, I work with many young investors. You know I'm a financial planner. So I'm going to tell you a quick story. When I work with young investors, I share with them this concept. I've got Satisfied Sally here, Okay, let me stand over here. Satisfied Sally, and I get with her young, she's 25, and she invests $2,000 a year for 10 years, and then she stops, knowing she's going to retire at 65. And then we've all met disappointed Daryl, who decides he's going to wait, right? We all have excuses why we don't want to save now. And he waits until he's 35, and then he invests $2,000 a year for 30 years. So he's put a lot more money into this account. Assuming they earn 8%, look what they wind up with. There is power in preparation. A little over $300,000 versus a little under $250,000 for disappointed Daryl. All because he waited. He just delayed, unnecessarily, I might add. So, I'm about to share with you a process that's easy to remember and simple to implement that can help you prepare with power and avoid procrastination. And it's real simple. Please take notes if you'd like to take notes. I'm going to relate this to Toastmasters, but this process can be followed with any personal goal or objective. Okay? The first is P. We need to plan. You use your Competent Communicators Manual. They lay it all out for you, how to plan the speech. And I'm not going to go into a Toastmasters speech, but it's right there. You got to start with the end in mind. And that's probably, this is the hardest step for me when I'm preparing a speech, is just the P, just planning the speech. The second step, you need to observe your timeline. You need to give yourself a deadline. In the military, we call this back planning. Can you imagine in the military, people that procrastinate, they don't last very long, okay? So here's an example. You want to have your speech ready ahead of time, 2 weeks back. So you might observe a timeline like this. And you'll see where we incorporate the rest of these letters. Yes, it's an acronym, it's POWER, okay? But it's powerful. The W stands for write. Yeah, you got to write your speech. Okay? Word processors make this a breeze. Word processors also make the E, which is edit your speech, easy. And then finally, you need to rehearse your speech. You'll bounce back and forth between those last 2 letters quite often, and this is what makes a good speech great. My closing statement. Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, only you, beyond a reasonable doubt, can decide that procrastination is guilty. What is procrastination guilty of? It's guilty of self-induced stress. It's guilty of chaos, and much, much more. Just remember, there's power in preparation. Plan. Observe your timeline. Write, edit, and rehearse. And to coin a phrase from a famous or not so famous comedian, Larry the Cable Guy, just get her done.